It was the five of us loitering in my friend's backyard, which was less of a yard and more of a concrete pit and a compost heap. There was a view of a bank and a used car lot and smoke. This was northeast Philadelphia, where I got my accent that I slip into when I go back there, and I rarely do. We all knew the Jardel gang, named after the nearby community recreation center where they played basketball. I still remember being at the neighborhood carnival when there were gunshots and young men chanting its name. But Jardel was where the courts were, and all of our flat white asses just wanted something to do that night. This was back when I was 14 and still walked around in a black trench coat despite Columbine. While looking at mine, Jay remembered that he had gotten a long black coat for his birthday. And his cousin also had one inside, and Nicky dug his out of his father's storage, and Lance, well, he just kind of looked the part despite his dark windbreaker. All five of us walking at 4 in the morning like a mafia, with this attitude of absolute certainty that to this day I don't know if I was the only one who was terrified. There was one light still lit over the half court and part of a chain-link net dangling off the hoop, and we played like we were dancing on hot coals. This poem's called Regular, and it starts with a quote from Tom York, "But I'm a creep." That guy at the bar with that woman with the cherry lipstick and the stem of her glasses pinched between her perfectly white, perfectly straight, perfectly mint, fresh chloride baking soda teeth, letting her fingers slide out flat, her cuticles rubbed with oil just a few hours ago, her eyes locked and ready, her nail polish, her shampoo, her blush, her scent ready for him to take. That guy is Jim, a regular. He worked blue-collar jobs until he became a famous poet, where he wrote about his blue-collar jobs and regulars. So many times I've stared at him across the room and I tried to sit like him with his spine straight and shoulders slouched, just fit into a plaid red shirt, beer in one hand, a grin so natural you'd think he'd been grinning on the ultrasound photos. His other hand squeezing into his tight, worn-to-the-knees workman's jeans for another dollar, for another beer, for another woman. I am 4,000 miles away from him in this bar, over with my friend, Tom, who has one gimpy eye and wild oil spill hair, hunched over and hunched over again, half a white Russian in one hand, and God knows where the other one is. A waitress with 2 handfuls of breasts keeps passing us, keeps speaking in secret to a manager, keeps pulling up her blouse and crossing her arms over her chest. And more than another drink, all I want is for everyone to be naked right now. And everyone would laugh and be in love with everything. For a moment, I lose myself. And I approach a blonde bartender with a Livestrong yellow rubber bracelet. She looks busy, but I get her attention anyway. I would like to buy that guy over there another moose head. I point to Jim. Say it's from Jade. I say with a crank smile. From who? Jade. Jake? No, you know what? Never mind. I sink back into the seat next to Tom, who is now part of the furniture. What the hell am I doing here, he says. No matter how many times I come here, I will never be a regular. Next poem's called An Orgy at the Bookstore. We are unsatisfied, and I suggest that we buy a book. We shift our feet, cross our arms, and scan and browse. The sex section in a bookstore is the strangest place. Somewhere between the teenagers studying Catcher in the Rye and the children reading about wild things, and in between Kafka and Kierkegaard, and only yards from Stephen Hawking and Einstein, and real-time writers whispering to their cappuccinos, there we are, with Dr. Ruth and a big dick. How does anyone feel comfortable? We shyly point at positions and discuss our philosophies. There are other couples looking through the books, even quieter and smaller than we are. I look down into the spot between her breasts where they meet. If I can only put my hand into it, then my forearm, then you climb down head first. It looks like such a peaceful place. She looks up at me, exhausted. We're done, no books today. As I lie in bed next to her, I think about how much better this will all be when we're following an instruction manual. I turn to face her. Her ribs rise and fall. Her arm moves over her hip. In the dark, she is the canyons of California, constantly shifting. If the idea of perfection weren't so finite, I would say that she is perfect. But she is made of plate tectonics. She is made of lonely afternoons with monstrously lonely mothers. She is made of white satin and wine. She is made of driving barefoot and Kurt Vonnegut and Catholic school and shame. And I realized sometime later that we never needed a book. We needed an orgy in the bookstore. We needed something that would show us how fucking beautiful we were. We needed a way to undo all that's been done to us. Thanks. Atoms for peace. There must be a place of silence, in theory, like absolute zero, happening all around us, like tucking your body under your bed sheets, like building box shelters or burying your head in your hands, only much smaller. There are spaces between the particles of energy clashing into one another. There are spaces so small they ride on the sound waves. They weave between the chaos of physics. There are billions upon billions of these silences. They surround, they are part of, they coexist. Listen, they are brief. In Anaheim, my skin cells turn pink in the sun. My legs are weak from walking. My bag carries bricks. I rest on the bench and wait for the next bus. The Santa Ana winds sweep the desert and burn, and above me are pigeons on a wire. And as the gust rushes in, they fly. I look up and I see them dip and turn in perfect formation. They circle and swoop under lampposts. They weave around telephone poles. Some land on a roof and others hover near. Then they all take off again. I look around to see others staring, a man in the shade, a woman in a business suit. Someone turned off his iPod. He looked from behind his sunglasses. Cars slow down, joggers stop altogether. Everyone is watching these birds move together, perhaps simply because they do it so well. I try to count them all, but I stop at 50. They're now a beast balanced above us. What they created is magnificent and terrifying. In one bird, moving in perfect formation, millions of cells, and in one cell, millions of molecules and atoms and electrons, all soaring perfectly, like this city, like this galaxy, perfection in momentum. And I think of peace in pieces, peaceful gears and peaceful wires, peaceful atoms making up peaceful skin cells, peaceful brain waves making peaceful dreams, making peaceful desires, making peaceful actions, making peaceful pain and peaceful pleasure, peaceful dirt and peaceful yellow teeth and peaceful cancer and peaceful sex, and peaceful bustling shopping malls, and peaceful ripening blood oranges, and peaceful oil and tar and labor, and peaceful gold and peaceful war and peaceful hot desert sands and peaceful spider webs and peaceful breathing and peaceful death. And there is no room for anything else.